The history of pandemics. The Black Death. The Black Death was one of the most devastating pandemics in human history. Between 1347 to 1351, it resulted into deaths of an estimated 75 to 200 million people across Europe and Asia. The Black Death resurfaced in London in 1665, which killed 20% of London's population in just 18 months. An estimated 100,000 people died. The most popular theory of how the plague ended is through the implementation of quarantines. The uninfected would typically remain in their homes and only leave when it was necessary, while those who could afford to do so would leave the more densely populated areas and live in greater isolation. Spanish flu. The Spanish flu was an influenza pandemic that spread around the world between 1918 and 1919. The CDC estimates that about 500 million people, or one-third of the world's population, became infected with the virus. It ultimately caused at least 50 million deaths worldwide, with about 675,000 deaths happening in the US. It is still unclear where the virus originated. A devastating second wave of the Spanish flu hit American shores in the summer of 1918. By the summer of 1919, the flu pandemic came to an end, as those that were infected either died or developed immunity, wiping around 3% of the world's population. The exact numbers are impossible to know due to a lack of medical record keeping in many places. Asian flu. The Asian flu began in East Asia in 1957, which was first discovered in Singapore. From there, the virus made its way to Hong Kong and to the coastal cities in the United States. Of the 1.1 million people who died of the Asian flu worldwide, 116,000 of them were in the United States. Immunity to this virus was rare in people less than 65 years of age. The pandemic was predicted. In preparation, vaccine production began in late May 1957. Unlike the virus that caused the 1918 pandemic, the 1957 pandemic virus was quickly identified, due to advances in scientific technology. Vaccine was available in limited supply by August 1957. Hong Kong flu. The Hong Kong flu pandemic of 1968 originated in China. It was the third pandemic flu outbreak to occur in the 20th century, killing 1 million people worldwide, 100,000 in the United States. In comparison to other pandemics of the 20th century, the Hong Kong flu yielded a low death rate. The disease was allowed to spread through the population without restrictions on economic activity, until a vaccine became available 4 months after it started. HIV and AIDS. The human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, and acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or AIDS, were first discovered in the early 1980s. According to the World Health Organization, 75 million people have been infected with the virus since it was discovered, resulting in 32 million deaths worldwide. An estimated 38,000 new HIV infections still happen in the US each year. Currently, there's no cure for HIV or AIDS. Once you have the infection, your body can't get rid of it. However, there are many medications that can control HIV and prevent complications. These medications are called antiretroviral therapy, or ART. Swine flu. The swine flu occurred in 2009 with a novel influenza virus, H1N1. According to the CDC, the virus was actually first detected in the US and it spread quickly across the states and the world. Between April 12, 2009 and April 10, 2010, there were 60.8 million cases reported, 274,304 hospitalizations, and 12,469 deaths due to the virus. The CDC estimates 575,400 people died worldwide. The pandemic is officially over as declared by the World Health Organization. Although the new H1N1 is still around and will continue to cause disease, it has become much like any other flu strain. It is also important to remember that pandemics do end, and that modern science and medicine can be incredible forces for good. We no longer live in the Dark Ages, we are better armed today than we have ever been. Lesson to be learned. Physical distancing and quarantine measures work.